Yo, hoop fans! Your sideline sage, Tips and Upstreams, is lacing up once again. On deck, deep dives into the freshest NBA clashes, ready to set the planks ablaze. But before we jump the ball, be sure to hammer that subscribe on our YouTube channel to keep hooked with our sharp forecasts and prime selections. All right, let's bounce into today's NBA Crystal Ball reads. The first prediction for today is for the game between Minnesota Timberwolves and Dallas Mavericks. The Minnesota Timberwolves are gearing up to face the Dallas Mavericks at the American Airlines Center for Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. The Timberwolves are in a must-win situation, aiming to become the first team in NBA history to overcome an 0-3 deficit in a playoff series, while the Mavericks are just one win away from advancing to the NBA Finals. Despite being down 0-3, the Timberwolves have been competitive in the first three games. Their regular season road success, boasting a 31-17 record, indicates they can perform well away from home. However, their postseason form has been shaky, averaging 108 points per game on 46.7% shooting from the field and 35.7% from three-point range. Defensively, they've allowed 102.1 points per game, with opponents shooting 46.8% from the field and 36.2% from deep. Minnesota's defense, which was top tier during the regular season, has struggled to contain Dallas's isolation play. Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, usually dominant in the front court, have underperformed offensively, combining for just 23 points in Game 3. Anthony Edwards has been the standout for the Timberwolves, averaging 27.4 points and 6.6 rebounds in the playoffs, but he needs more support from his teammates to turn the series around. Injuries have been a minor issue for Minnesota, with Jalen Clark out since early March. Mike Conley, who was questionable at the start of the series, has been playing full games and is not expected to be limited in Game 4. The Dallas Mavericks have shown resilience and timely execution throughout the series. They boast a 30-18 record at home during the regular season and have maintained strong performances at home in the playoffs. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving have been the driving forces for Dallas, dominating one-on-one situations and keeping the offense fluid. Doncic has been particularly impressive, averaging 28.3 points and 9 assists in the playoffs. Dallas's defense has also been effective, allowing 103.9 points per game on 44.2% shooting from the field and 35.4% from three-point range. Their front court play has been a significant advantage, outscoring Minnesota 50-40 in the paint in Game 3. The Mavericks have been strong on the boards, averaging 43.4 rebounds per game in the playoffs. Historically, the Mavericks have performed well against the Timberwolves in the playoffs, winning each of their 6 previous matchups. Minnesota has struggled in road playoff games following a loss, with a 1-12 record in their last 13 such games. Additionally, the Timberwolves have failed to cover the spread in their last 6 games against Southwest Division opponents. The Timberwolves' offense has been a major problem this series, and it starts at the top. Anthony Edwards is averaging just 22 points per game on 38.6% shooting, and Karl-Anthony Towns is at 15 points per game on 27.8% shooting. Towns has been so bad he has been played off the floor down the stretch of these games in favor of Naz Reid. The offense has been abysmal down the stretch of these games. The quality of the shots is not necessarily bad either, but the misses exacerbate the problem by allowing Dallas to get out in transition. In perspective, Minnesota has a 117.6 offensive rating in the fourth quarter of these playoffs per NBA Advanced Stats. In a win-or-go-home game, Minnesota has nothing to lose, and some of those shooting woes should regress to the mean. The Mavericks got the unfortunate news that Lively, neck, will not be available for Game 4, but they may get back Maxi Kleber, shoulder, to bolster their big man rotation. Lively has been a plus defensively in tandem with Gafford. They have provided Dallas with strong play from the center position, while they have staggered their minutes this postseason. When Lively went down, Gafford saw a series-high 29 minutes compared to 21 in Games 1 and 2. However, that uptick in minutes did not translate to an uptick in output, as he recorded just 5 points and 3 rebounds, but continued the block party with 3 blocks for a total of 9 in 3 games. The Mavericks have been a bit fortunate in their shot making. They have an EFG percent of 58.1% compared to an expected 53% this series. However, much of that can be written off as having elite shot makers in both Doncic and Kyrie Irving. They can make some of those slightly EV shots at a high enough rate to remain productive. Despite these challenges, the Timberwolves' strong defensive capabilities and resilience make them a formidable opponent. They have shown they can compete with Dallas, winning 3 of their 4 regular season meetings. To succeed in Game 4, Minnesota must improve their defensive efforts and get better offensive contributions from their front court stars. Dallas' confidence is high, knowing they are just 1 win away from the NBA Finals. The Mavericks' ability to close out games, as demonstrated in their fourth quarter performance in Game 3, will be crucial. With Doncic and Irving leading the charge, Dallas will look to leverage their home court advantage and end the series. Honestly, I'm very disappointed with Minnesota. I can't say that their offense was good, because it wasn't, but the defense they played in the first 2 rounds against the Suns and Nuggets promised that they could reach the league finals. It seems to me that the Minnesota team was built only to beat the Nuggets without even thinking about the other teams. I don't count the Suns, because they were terrible both this year and last year. On the other hand, the Timberwolves are too good to be swept out in the Western Conference Finals, and I expect they here won't only cover the spread in this one, but will come away with the win as well. They have been stout all season defensively and will tune into that side of the ball to get the stops needed to come out on top. With Lively potentially being out, it also leaves Dallas without a key lob threat, which has seemed to be a challenge for Minnesota in this series. The Timberwolves will put a heavy focus on finding success in the front court, and by finally dominating there, it'll lead to a win. They won 3 of 4 meetings in the regular season and will return to that form. Given the data and analysis, the prediction is that the Minnesota Timberwolves will cover the 2-point spread. They have been competitive in every game and have the defensive prowess to challenge Dallas. While the Mavericks are favored to win, Minnesota's desperation and ability to adjust might push this series to another game. My bet is the Minnesota Timberwolves to cover the 2-point spread,